You have a vision board. You have a 5-year plan. You have 17 browser tabs open about starting a business, learning a language, writing a book, and getting in shape. You also haven't left your bed before noon in 3 days. And somehow, both of these things are equally, completely true about you. If that just made you laugh or wince a little, good. Because today, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood personality types in existence. The person who is wildly ambitious and profoundly lazy at the exact same time. And no, you're not a walking contradiction. You're not broken. Your brain is just running a very specific and very interesting operating system that most people don't understand. Let's get into it. It's Psychology Unfolded, where we decode what makes you, you. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Ambition and laziness are not opposites. They're not even on the same spectrum. They're measuring completely different things. Ambition is about what your brain wants. Laziness, or what scientists more accurately call low activation energy, is about what your brain is willing to spend to get there. And when those two things don't match up, you get a person with enormous dreams and a suspicious relationship with their to-do list. And here's where neuroscience gets fascinating. Your brain has two systems constantly competing for control. The prefrontal cortex, that's your planner, your visionary, your long-term thinking machine. And the limbic system, which is your emotional, impulsive, right-now pleasure-seeking core. In most people, these two systems negotiate reasonably well. But in highly ambitious people, the prefrontal cortex is almost too good at its job. It can see the entire mountain, every step, every obstacle, every possible failure along the way. And that is exhausting before you've even started. Research in cognitive neuroscience shows that the brain perceives large, complex goals the same way it perceives physical threats. Seriously, your nervous system doesn't really distinguish between I have to climb Everest and I have to write this 80,000-word novel. Both activate the same low-level stress response. And what does your brain do when it detects a threat? It conserves energy. It stalls. It suddenly finds 17 other things that feel safer and more manageable, like reorganizing your closet or watching one more episode. That's not weakness. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. But wait, here's the part that'll really get you. There's a concept in psychology called ego depletion, and it was studied extensively by researcher Baumeister. The idea is this: self-control, motivation, and willpower all draw from the same limited mental resource, like a battery. And here's what nobody tells ambitious people. Your brain drains that battery just by thinking about your goals. The planning, the visualizing, the strategizing, the internal monologue about what you should be doing. All of that costs real cognitive energy. So by the time you actually sit down to do the work, you're already tired. You spent all your willpower imagining being productive. Truly a special kind of suffering. And this explains something you've probably noticed about yourself. You're not lazy about everything. You can hyper-focus for hours on something that genuinely excites you. You can stay up until 3 a.m. researching a topic you care about. You can plan an entire trip down to the last detail in one afternoon. That's not laziness. That's actually a really important clue about how your brain is wired. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, yes, that name is a journey, developed something called flow theory. The idea that human beings perform at their absolute peak when the challenge of a task perfectly matches their skill level. Too easy, and your brain checks out. Too hard, and your brain panics. But in that sweet spot, time disappears. Effort feels effortless. You're not forcing yourself to work. You're in flow. Ambitious, lazy people aren't unmotivated. They're flow-dependent. And the modern world, with its fragmented attention, endless notifications, and pressure to do everything at once, is basically a flow destruction machine. So let's talk about something that hits a little closer to home. Have you ever noticed that the days you feel most lazy are also the days when you have the most options? A full free Saturday with nothing scheduled, and you do absolutely nothing. But the night before a deadline, suddenly you're a productivity machine. That's not a coincidence. That's your brain being weirdly, infuriatingly rational. There's a psychological phenomenon called decision fatigue. When your brain is faced with too many choices, too many possible directions, it shuts down. Not because you're weak, because choosing is genuinely cognitively expensive. And ambitious people live inside a permanent storm of options. 100 different goals, 1,000 different paths, infinite possible versions of the life they could be living. That kind of mental noise doesn't inspire action, it paralyzes it. And here's where it gets really interesting. Research on procrastination consistently shows that it isn't actually about laziness. Psychologist Fuchsia Sirowa found that procrastination is fundamentally an emotion regulation problem. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling the task brings up. The fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, the crushing weight of how much the goal actually means to you. And the more ambitious you are, the more you have to lose, the louder that fear gets. So your brain does what brains do. It protects you. It finds a way out that doesn't feel like giving up. It just feels like not starting yet. Tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. Maybe when the energy feels right. But here's something nobody in the productivity world wants to admit. Some of what gets labeled as laziness in ambitious people is actually strategic intelligence. Researchers studying high performers found that the most effective people aren't the ones who work hardest. They're the ones who are ruthlessly selective about what deserves their energy. They rest without guilt. They protect their focus like it's a limited resource, because it is. Your reluctance to pour energy into things that don't fully align with your vision, that might not be avoidance. That might be discernment. The problem is when it stops being strategic and starts being self-protective. When the thing you're avoiding isn't busy work, it's the one thing that actually matters to you. And deep down, you already know the difference. So what do you do with all of this? Stop waiting for motivation to show up before you start. Neuroscience is clear on this. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Open the document, write one sentence, send one email. Your brain doesn't care how small it is, it just needs proof that you're moving. You're not lazy. You're not a dreamer who can't execute. You're someone whose vision is so big, it occasionally short-circuits the very brain trying to achieve it. So next time you have 17 tabs open and 0 tasks completed, don't spiral. Just ask yourself one thing. What's the smallest possible move I can make right now? Not the perfect move, just one move. Because the ambitious part of you already knows where you're going. It always has. Now you just know why the engine stalls sometimes and how to turn it back on. You're not broken. You're just wired for big things. And big things take a little longer to load. If this resonated, drop a comment below. Are you ambitious lazy? I want to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and click one of the videos on screen next. I'll see you there.